Well, wait a minute. Ormerod, right at the end. Let's find Ormerod here. Ormerod with the shot. Adam Ormerod. Ormerod's done well here. Oh, that's the right here. Here's Ormerod. Oh, he's got in.
Hello, welcome back to the Perfect Pass podcast. My name is Christian Bracegirdle, Ashley Gilmore, and this week we've got another ex-professional, our very special guest, Brett Ormerod. Welcome onto the podcast, Brett. Good to have you.
Super Brett.
Super Brett.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Yeah. So obviously we're both Blackpool local lads. We've been to countless Blackpool games. So you're a local legend in these parts. I'd say we've literally got the stadium in sight over the road, which is quite nice. So before we get into
Before we start, I've not said this yet because I don't really think I'm blowing smoke or anything, but you were like one of my first up there, football heroes.
Yeah.
I obviously always had these others. I remember when I was in college, high school, year 7 and 8, my geography teacher had a keyring, an Ormerod keyring.
Oh,
That's how we used to talk, honestly. So
I'll tell you what, it makes me feel old though. I get a load of lads now, just like you're a big lad, up bigger and everything, and then you show me a picture when you were a mascot with me and John Murphy, and I'm thinking, God, I am old.
Yeah.
I'm so old.
You were the one up there for me. That was the one,
thank you. I appreciate it.
So obviously for us you're the Blackpool legend, but give us a bit more about yourself, about your career, how you got into playing football, and
I always that's all I ever did as a kid. I'm from Blackburn, I'm a great Howard lad. I started my prop career, I was at Crewe Alexandra actually. We Barry Shuttleworth was another ex-Blackpool player. It was under Barry Benall, the infamous, but when I was 10, but nothing like that happened. But that was the first ever professional club. Then I went to Blackburn because my dad didn't drive anyway, so I signed for Blackburn and I was there from about 11-year-old till I got apprenticeship. I left in '95 when they won the Prem, so that's how it started.
And am I right in saying that Alan Shearer was part of that?
Yeah, Shearer was. Yeah, I was Shearer's boot boy.
Really?
We used to have to clean boots for pros. When I left school, obviously I was at Norden in Michigan, and Alan Shearer had just signed the season before. He got injured, but he was like everyone's hero. And I went 93. I started my apprenticeship, and the two pros I had to look after, one was Nicky Mark and the other was Alan Shearer. So
wow.
I was his boot boy for 2 years as well. So I used to take his boots home and show my mates.
Yeah,
I did on the same.
Yeah. Well, if you look at my boots, I've worn Umbro Speciales my whole life. That's what Shearer wore, and he gave me even my first pair of Speciales.
Oh, really?
And then I was lucky enough to get a sponsor off Umbro after that when I was at Blackpool and Southampton. So and I've just worn them boots ever since. But it was from cleaning Alan Shearer's boots.
Wow. So what happened from there, from Blackburn then?
Well, I was left when I got released when I was 18.
Yeah.
Just won the Prem. You had to be playing pretty much around the first team at that point. And Blackburn didn't have the infrastructure or the academies like they have now. Nothing like that. It was if you were 18, I think James Beattie was a year younger than me. Beattie had signed it. My year was the last year. Signed a 2-year apprentice. James Beattie's year, who was a year younger, was the first lot with Marlon Bruns, who signed a 1-year apprentice and 2 and 3-year pro.
Yeah.
So I think we had, when you won the Prem, you had Shearer and Sutton, you had Kev Gallagher, Mike Newell, Paul Warhurst, Peter Thorne, and obviously Beats and all that coming through. And so if you weren't playing, or getting in the first team, I played a few resi games, but basically if you weren't at the ground running at that age, then you got released, you had nowhere else to go because we didn't have these under 23s and that. So I ended up getting released. I had a double hernia operation that summer because I'd needed one for ages. I fractured my shoulder blade in a game for Blackburn against Bury. And I pretty much hated football. When I fell out with football, I was 18, on crutches, had a double hernia up, and I thought that's it. So I went drinking. I went on piss with my mates.
James Beattie was when I was younger as well. He was like an up and coming star, wasn't he? Like he was one of
Beats was, he was pretty much the size he is now when he was 16, 17. But he could have been a doctor. He was very clever, Beats. I mean, he was So, and we had one physio at Blackburn there. They've got 10 physios, for everything. But we had one physio on that, Mark Pettigrew, and I remember I'd gone on my ankle, and obviously to wait for all the pros and everything, when we had to go out training. So Beatsy, because he'd done a bit of doctorate or whatever before, I used to get him to do my ankle strapping for me before I went out. So that's a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, Beatsy went on to have a fantastic career.
Brilliant. So also as well, I presume one of your highlights of your career, you played in an FA Cup final.
Yeah, for Southampton. That's reunited with Beach when I obviously left here in 2001, I think it was. After that, I'd obviously broke my leg. I had a few bad injuries.
On that, just before we move on, so obviously you left. Did you say 2001?
Yeah, I signed here in that. Well, I went to Aki Stanley. What it was, my dad's mate. I was in a pub in Great Harwood in Wellington. It's not there anymore. I've got the Aki Stanley reserve man he was in with a mate of my dad's.
Right, okay.
And my dad, and he just turned around and he said, "Get him to Stanley." And I was like, yeah, but because I'd still just had the staples out my groin for me double hernia and stuff, and I ended up going down there and met a lot of players, pros who'd been at Burnley and that, who I played against for Blackburn and stuff, and just gave me confidence. I ended up there about 18 months and just started enjoying football again. I was 19, banging goals in for fun. I think it was me and Lee Trundle, who was playing for Chorley, I was playing for Stanley. And they were saying which one was going to be the first £1 million non-league player at that time. So between me and him, and neither of us went for $1 million in the end. But, in '96, I think it was 95, '96. That was pretty good going.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he ended up at Swansea, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But he went a few other clubs first. He was actually at Wrexham. I remember playing against him for Blackpool when he was at Wrexham, and then he ended up at Swansea. That's where his career took off. But it was just a bit later than mine.
Just back to that transfer about Southampton, that's another one about. I remember that transfer. That's one of the first transfers I actually remember. Like as a kid, I was in probably year 6.
Was you devastated?
I was, because I remember you went to Southampton. It was 1.75.
Also on that 1.75 now, I'm sure you know, a bit of a joke that goes on about the Oystons.
Money,
So what happened with that money, Brett?
Do you know what? I don't know. I wish I knew, because I could do it now. I could do it. I really do it.
Good old joke. What happened with that money? Because it definitely wasn't spent on the club.
Well, if I remember, we caught. I mean, the Oystons. When I signed here in '97 from Aki Stanley, I remember Gary Megson signed me. We might Phelan, Mickey Phelan, who was a brilliant coach, Mickey Phelan. And I remember coming down with Eric Wall, who's passed, God bless Eric, passed away now, Eric, and he was the then Stanley chairman. And we came down and we met him. And I think I signed for 50 grand here.
Right, okay.
And Eric got me, I think he got me £5 grand. I was on £250 a week here, and I got £5 grand signing on, and I thought it was the absolute. Because I used to have I had a Nova GT. If you remember the old Nova GTs when I went out here, I had a Kenwood sticker in back. Kenwood, I thought with a dog's mouth. And I had a bank loan for it of about £2 grand. So I got this £5 grand, and I could pay my car off. And I was like, it made me, not only getting back into the league with Blackpool, but the fact that I've got to pay my fucking car off.
Absolutely.
Little things there.
So going back to that FA Cup final, and obviously it was unfortunately you didn't win in the end. A couple of questions on that one. So who did you room with?
Rory Dillard was my best mate.
Oh really?
Yeah, I mean I was very close with Rory. He's a family of mine. I mean, his son Liam now who's just signed for Ipswich. We used to babysit him. I changed his nappies, that kid.
Oh wow!
And then he's just gone for 15 million quid.
City Academy.
Well, he's still good. He's like he's same age as my daughter, because my daughter was born down there.
Right. Okay.
So he's still in contact, I think, as far as I know. My daughter's got a boyfriend right now, but he's still they've grown up as kids together.
Oh wow!
So they still he's still talking.
He had some kind of an arm, Rory, didn't he?
But do you know what the irony is? I mean, he was like I said, he's one of my best mates at Southampton, but he never took a throw in. No, not at Southampton. He was only at Stoke. I remember we used to go on pre-season. We were in Scotland, and there were me. It was just as Ray and Bridge were going to Chelsea, but Bridge was on the thing on the pre-season with us, and we were bored. We were up at in Edinburgh. What's the golf course called?
I'm no good with golf.
Anyway, it's a famous golf course.
Yeah.
And we were walking across the beach, and there was a boy in the sea, and we just started throwing stones, like see if we could reach it. fucking Rory could reach it.
Really?
And you're thinking he had an absolute arm on him, but he never took a throw in. You know, it's only when he went to Stoke with Tony Pulis and he had him throwing it. I mean, he could throw it further than I could kick it. You know, so he never took a throw.
It was like their assist, wasn't it? Like,
oh, it became a massive. Do you know what? He became legendary for it because he could throw it. He could, you know, he could put it where you wanted. Yeah. And against teams like Arsenal and all that, you know, Wenger used to go mad and it's not football and all that. But at the end, you've got there's more. You know, if Stoke ever tried to get the ball down and play like Arsenal, Arsenal would have been 10-0.
Yeah, of course.
So Stoke have to do everything in their power. They're not going to, you know, it's a fucking game. They're not going to go all over. It is.
Yeah, of course.
And they knew that. And Troy Deeney once come out with it, didn't it, a few years later, when he said we knew that we fucking hate it like that. But then, I mean, I played when the Arsenals and United's that I played against, especially when I was at Southampton when I first played. You know, I remember my first game at Old Trafford, and we'd done a team talk. Strachan had done this team talk, keep it cut, you know. And it's when it was 67,000. I walked out, 6,000-7,000. I'm sat on bench. Fucking Beckham and Scholes are on bench. Beckham and Giggs, sorry, on bench. And Strachan had just done this team talk about keeping it tight for 20 minutes, trying to keep the crowd quiet. And Scholes just fucking pinged this 60-yard ball over to Van Nistelrooy. He made this run line. He took one touch over his shoulder, smashed it back of our net. We got beat 6-0. And it was unbelievable. I got on for the last 20 minutes and I chopped Laurent Blanc. Was it Laurent Blanc? Who used to be French captain. I chopped him twice and crossed the ball, beat you the fucking scored. That was my first appearance at Old Trafford. But we got beat 6-0 and Strachan just went, look, that can happen to anyone. But at that time, they were them and Arsenal, and they weren't just good players. You know, Vieira and that. They were so horrible to play against. Yeah. But if you give the ball away, you never got it back. You ended up it back in the net, you know. So we beat them a couple of times with Southampton, United and Arsenal down over years. But we had to be at our best and hope that they had an off day. Because if they were on their best, and you just didn't have a chance.
It's a bit similar to like Southampton. Like, I mean, as I grew up, they've always had like a good standard of players that come through the academy, and like you've had Bale, you've had Walcott. Do you know what I mean? These players.
Well, I used to say that. I mean, the academy was just getting to them. And when I signed, Matt Latiz was just. I played in Matt Latiz's testimonial. I mean, it was the end of the season. He wasn't really playing, but my first training session, I had to I had to partner him in training. And then at the end of session, the goalkeeping coach, David Coles, he got behind the goal. We were on the edge of a box, and he put a corner, and he pinged balls, and he had two touches, so to control it in the box,
right, okay,
and get his shot off. And whatever keeper, Paul Jones, who was keeper, reserve team keeper, and Tizza put a bit of weight on them. And Coles is fucking pinged this ball, and it's gone over his head, and he went sorry to it, and he's backstepped and he's hit it with his heel, back over his head, and fucking smashed it top bag. And I just turned to beat him, I can't do that. I was on phone to my brother that night going, I can't fucking do that. But my brother's like, well, no one can, you know, that's Matt Latiz.
He was a special player.
We played in his testimonial at end, and he played for us at first. It was Southampton against an England, but it was every who's who of England. Yeah. And I mean, just even like Alan Ball, you know, all the managers, Keegan was there, players Shearer, Beardsley, Gascoigne, Ian Wright, Stuart Pearce, Peter Beers, you name every kid. Every England player that I'd grown up with, the kid, Glenn Hoddle, Robson, and I remember Peter Beers just going, "Hey, Brett," and I went, "Fucking Beersley." And me and the after party was at Jumping Jacks at in Leisure World at Southampton. And it was obviously like and it was just fucking packed. And me and Beats were just walking around like kids.
Who was the most pissed?
I can't. Me probably. I remember because Artful Dodgy were there as well. Artful Dodgy were like Beats' mate, because he's a Southampton lad. He was Craig David's mate. Craig David was meant to come. I can't remember seeing Craig David there at the time. Wow. But you know, it was just fucking ridiculous. And we were walking around, and it was just like fucking Gascoigne's there. Honestly, me and Beats were like kids again. Like when we were at Blackpool, we were just like, I remember Shearer coming over and talking to us, and because we were kids, obviously, when we trained with Shearer and that, and we just looking and went, he's still the fucking man in here, we were like brilliant. But yeah, we were like absolute football fit. Like I felt like we were a 10-year-old again. We were brilliant.
Just back to again, I keep mentioning it, the transfer of Joe when you went to Southampton. I read as well. Like, Strachan also mentioned he was always interested in you as a player, even when he didn't have a job.
Yeah, well apparently that's what he said. He said, I think he came to watch me when we played Swindon here. When I always remember Neil Ruddock played, and I think it was his last game for Swindon because he put him. And he was up against Danny Coy, and Danny Coy finished his career because Coy was megsing him and everything and fucking ruined him. Couldn't get near him, and I think after that he called it quits. And I think that was a game that he'd come to watch me just before he got the Southampton job. But he did put in his book that I've read, and well, I've been told about, but I've read his book since, and that he had watched me in a few times and that, and then thought, right, next time I think it was Northampton, he said, where we beat them 4-1 and I scored 2. And that's when, I mean, at Blackpool, me and Murph obviously had probably one of my best strike partners. When we'd gone up against Leighton Orient in 2001, the start of the next season, I'd scored 20 odd goals in Old before. It was just, and I had the spell like that at Accrington. I was never an out-and-out centre forward because I started off as a winger. So I was never like Kevin Phillips and all that. Kev was the best all-round player I ever played with. I was at Southampton, and obviously when Holloway pulled me and said, "We can get Kev Phillips. What do you think?" And I said, "Get him." He said, "Right," because he was older than me, and I said, "Look," I said, "Gaffer," I said, "He's the best football striker. He's fit as he could do, you know." I never seen him on. He like Shearer. He never had a bad day in training. Where I could have fucking time, you know, shooting and all that. He knew. So with that, and I just went in spells, especially at Accrington. I think I scored 30 odd goals in 20. And that was pretty much the same. I just hit that form where everything. I was just caught. You know, I just so it's hard to explain. I was so confident. I was taking people on, just scoring ridiculous goals. And then I look back and years later, and I'm thinking, fuck, I can't remember how I did that. You know, I can't get out of bed now without pulling a muscle in the back. So, but yeah, I mean, just really good.
I don't want to jump too far forward. But one question I do want to ask is about Ian Holloway.
I mean, Holloway was one of the best managers ever. I had two great managers. I mean, Steve McMahon was a good manager, but Steve McMahon just used to let you get on with it. He was like, he came in and all we did were 5 sides, because that's all they did at Liverpool. But if you remember that team when we played under McMahon, we had a team that we had Richie Wellens, who was fucking really good. He was just a little. He came to us, little cocky man like you were, been kicked out of United because of fucking stuff. But when he was on it, he was as good as anyone I played with. We had obviously me and Murph up front, Paul Simpson who had the best left foot. I mean, me and Murph had a really good partnership, probably one of the best I've ever had. But we had Simo looking goals in. We had, you know, so many talented players.
Keith somewhere in the side back then?
No, Keith came just after I left, so I missed Keith. But obviously we had Danny Coy, Jamie Milligan. I mean, I must remember just before I went to Southampton, we played Stoke in a cup game here, and my mum rested me and John Hills. We were on the bench. And he put Coydy and Jamie Milligan down the left, and whoever was the right back and right winger that day, he was just fucking torturing them. I mean, you played again. If you got Coydy and Jamie Milligan in a 5-a-side team, you couldn't get a ball from them. You know, they were so technically good.
Yeah, of course.
Yet Milligan never really got going again with like first team. And Coydy, I think Coydy suffered because he was either foot and he could play everywhere. You know, he was always the one who got sacrificed, if you will. So he never nailed a proper play style because he was like, when he was a young kid. But fuck it, the skills that them two had at times were as good as anything I played with in the Prem.
Wow. Is it right? Someone told me that you broke your leg when you was younger, didn't you?
Twice I broke it here playing for Blackpool.
Really?
Against Wickham in '99.
Wow.
It's nearly finished my career. Double break. I've got it. I've just moved in with me wife, or my girlfriend at the time. I've just got an house. I'd just gone 23. We played at Wickham, and I remember it was a week. If you remember, Henrik Larsson broke his leg midweek for Celtic, and it was a really bad break. And we just had pre-match, and we were waiting. So we were watching Football Focus. We were showing everything. I remember turning around to one of the lads. I forgot who it was. I fucking hated that. And then about 4 hours later, I'm looking down with a double break.
Wow. So how did that affect you then? Because I presume you must, at one point you might have even thought your career was over.
I did. I was out all season. I didn't kick a ball. What it was, I remember I went up for an header. The defenders beat me in the air, and he was Summit Brown. Was it Ian Brown? It was the coloured lad who played for Wickham in the field. And he had a bad touch, so I laid it off. We had David Lee on loan at the time. I laid it off, and he come through and he smashed me right through. He went through my shin pad, broke both bones. But I have all the highlights on videotape. My mum's, and I flip over, but I was in shock. So the first thing I do is stand up, and I stand up on my leg, and it just give, and it's gone because obviously how it didn't come out my leg, I don't know, but my pad was snapped to bits. And I remember being in ambulance. They give me morphine, which was good stuff to me. I just remember we were in the ambulance, and my leg was moving everywhere, and I was fuck, and I'm thinking, why haven't they strapped my leg up? Because I was coming through down off, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I was thinking, why haven't they strapped my leg up? Why haven't they strapped my leg up? And as I lifted my head, I was in one of them orange splints, and my leg was totally strapped up, so it was the bone. I knew it was the bone moving inside both bones. Wow. So that's when I and it like that.
Yeah, I can
and we used to have a director called Mr. Moore, who'd been at City, a Scottish boy, he was right lovely, and he was like, Brett, you'll be all right. I don't think it's a bad break, you know, it might have just got away with even bad bruising, and then you come in with the X-rays.
Trying to ease your mind, kind of.
Yeah, but it was a double leg break, it was double fracture of the tib and fib, so.
How do you come back from that, like, because obviously it's not easy at all, but like, obviously you're out for the rest of the season. Are you just, is it just like constant physio? Or is it you doubtful that are you gonna be back?
Yeah, well, I just moved into my house. I've just moved into my house then. I was 23. Just moved into my first house with my then girlfriend, who was pregnant with my son, who's now 24, 6 foot on. But he was, and she was going to work, and we hadn't even had a settee delivered. I got this old settee, and I had a pot, and it's when the last of the, you know, they put the pots on there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hardly move, so I used to have like telly there, and I used to have them. They give me all of them plastic piss bottles because I couldn't move.
Yeah.
So I just sit and wait for my missus to get back. And it wasn't. I didn't do anything for like a long time. It was over at Millennium. It was about October I'd done it. I didn't come back with the following season. But it was because I remember when I first started running on it, I was trying to run before I could walk, if you will.
Right, yeah.
And the physio was Paul Kelly then. And I've been bike riding a lot. He sent me to Whitechurch from Squires, and I got to Norbrick, and I was doing loads of biking, like, oh, fuck. And then I started like putting, and as soon as I started getting confident on my leg, I was running, and he bollocked me, and I went, right, and he's like, you're not ready for it, and I'm like, I've just jogged to there and back. And he said, right, and he had the old camera, he didn't have fucking camera phones then, but he had the old thing, and he said, right, just run there and back. And I ran, and come back and thought, yeah, I feel fine. And then he showed me the video, and I was all over the place.
Really?
But I didn't realise that.
Of course, yeah.
And then we had another young lad who broke his at the same time, and he had to finish because he had a lot of fracture pains, you know, like, which fortunately I never suffered from. And then, but in between that, Nigel Worthington left and Steve McMahon came in over the December, I think, because we were fighting relegation. We ended up getting relegated that year. So yeah, it was a bad time at the time because obviously just doing that, but we also got relegated, and it was like fucking hell. Yeah. You know, it wasn't a nice time.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Also played for Leeds as well, didn't you?
The infamous Leeds.
Yeah, so a Yorkshireman was really as tight as it may come out to be then.
Well, it didn't go well as Leeds because I've been in ill and injured at Southampton. We'd had a new manager come in and I weren't playing. He said, do you want to go to Leeds? And I only went because Steve Craney was at Southampton with me, and at Leeds, and then so I've known Cranes for a long time, and he'd gone to Leeds. So I ended up going up there, wasn't fit. They said, oh, you've always scored on your debut and all that for everything. And I'm like, have I? I didn't even know, and I have. So we played Sunderland live on Sky. My first game, after 20 minutes, I knew I weren't fit. I was breathing out my ass. Anyway, I split my head. Stevie Caldwell was Leeds centre half, who played here as well. Fucking split my head home. So I'd split my head, I had 3 fucking stitches in my head, full of blood. We get a penalty, I take it and fucking miss it. So I miss a penalty on my debut. So
I'm sure
I used to say the Yorkshire Ripper's more popular than Leeds, and he had an hammer. You know, so I mean, and I'll never meet a Leeds person. You know, even years later, end of my career, we were playing Halifax, and I was for Wrexham, and I was walking through and they have them Leeds books and this book saying, Brett, will you sign this? You play for Leeds. Yeah. Anyway, remember that penalty you missed? And I'm like, mate, people like you, I'll never forget it. I said, can I just say, I didn't do it on fucking purpose. But if you remember, they had Mark Poon, remember the keeper? He was at Derby. He was like Harvard Drago when he was like, he looked thick as fuck, didn't he? And he was massive. And I tried to give him the eyes, and it's not like I missed the target. I put it right in the corner. He fucking saved it. But yeah, I had 4 games at Leeds, and I got recalled off Southampton, but it didn't go well. It was a one loan move, apart from Oldham, when I fractured my foot, which didn't go well. And I never meet a Leeds fan who doesn't think
another one that Blackpool, I don't think we'll forget. You signed for PNE.
Yeah, I know.
Get brought up? I know. That's a strong one.
It is, because, and I'm. Do you know what? I'm very fortunate. think it was only Tony Ellis as well who's done this, who I've played for both teams,
Yeah.
and he hasn't, you know, and I knew that, and it took me a long time, but I'd had Harry Redknapp for a year. Fucking hated Harry.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've more stories on Harry in a year than I could write a book on Harry. I only had him for a year. I went to Wigan on loan. I went everywhere on loan because I just didn't want to play for him.
Right.
And just because, I mean, other players, and I've said it, I've got on record saying this before, just because whatever he told you, you couldn't trust him. You know. So you know, if he'd have just been straight with you, and he ruined a couple of moves for me. Not because, especially when we went down, I'd gone to Wigan. And I was meant to sign for Wigan before I went to Southampton.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And I met Paul Jewell. Because Paul Jewell, and they were waiting for Carl Royston to get. And McMahon, it didn't happen. So McMahon got me in the office and went, "I know where you were." He said, "But they ain't going to sell you to Wigan because they're in our league." And I'd scored an hat-trick against Wigan, if you remember, not long before. And then we beat them when 3-1. And he said, "Because they're in our league, Carl won't sell you." So Southampton have put the same. Have put $1 million in, but if they match Wigan's, I think Wigan's were 1.75. If they match Wigan's, they'll let you go. And I'd literally just moved in another new house. Because at the time I thought, and Wigan were offering fucking 5-6 times more than what I were on at Blackpool to play the same league. I had my son was, well, I don't even think he was 1. And we just moved in a new house. We were still in boxes, and I ended up going for talk to Southampton, signed a 4-year deal. And I come back up and I said that, and my mate and my wife, we never moved out of Blackpool. And Southampton's as far as you can go before you hit fucking water. So I thought she might not want. She wanted my wife then. We were still like been here since we were school. And we were like, well, you know, what if she says no? She wouldn't go because she's close with her family. I mean, I was shitting myself because I'd never moved out of Blackpool. I've always, you know, wherever I've been, I've travelled. So it was just everything happened like that. But when I came back, obviously, sorry, you asked the P&E question. I'd had a shit year with Redknapp. George Burley had come in. I'd had enough at Southampton. I should have gone. I went to Wigan on loan while Redknapp, and I did really well. That's when Roberts and Ellington were playing. And Redknapp went, well, you'll not get them to it, best strikers in the championship. I went, knocked Ellington out team, scored 2 against Leicester, played really well, then got called back, then wasn't involved again. Last game of the season, right, didn't kick a ball until we had to play United on last game of the season. That relegation battle between us, West Brom and all that. Pulled me from fucking Norway and played me. And we were 1-0 up, and I played really well. And we ended up getting beat, so we got relegated. And at the end of the game, he pulled me and went, "Oh, you'll be a big player for me." And I just went, "I want to fucking play for you." I said, "Because all you've done is fuck me about all year." Then obviously, he'd sold, Crouch had gone to Liverpool, he'd sold Beats to Everton, Beats had gone to Everton, Crouch had gone to Liverpool, and Kev Phillips had a relegation clause in his contract that said that, so he went to Aston Villa. So because I was the only recognisable striker, I was meant to go to Wigan, he fucked my move up. So they ended up signing David Conlon in the Prem when it should have been me. So I was very bitter towards him, and then obviously he signed Ricardo Phil, and then Ricky was brilliant at Stoke. But when Ricky signed, he couldn't fucking move because he failed a medical at Sunderland, and he was still injured. And Redknapp wavered it through, but because he come from Portsmouth, which is Southampton, it's like coming from Preston.
Of course.
Playing him every game, and he can't fucking run. Right? And so he put Theo on. This is when Theo Walcott were coming through, and Theo was like a little miniature, you know, he's 16-year-old fucking. And every time me and Theo played up front, we fucking won. But he was playing Ricky, but he couldn't move.
Right.
So I just had enough, and then he fucked off back to Portsmouth under unbelievable circumstances, which I could write a book on myself. But then George Burley came in and just said what it was. I spoke with Billy Davis. Billy Davis rung me up and said, "Do you want to come on loan?" And I've been on loan to Leeds. And the one I got, Glenn Hoddle rung me up when we went that to get on loan to Wolves. But because at Leeds, when I went to Leeds, right, that's when they just lost. And I had a daughter as well then, so I had 2 really young children. Come up from Southampton, stopped in an hotel, and they hadn't paid the bill. So they kept moving us from hotel to hotel. I had 2 young kids playing at Leeds. So I said, look. We ended up moving back in with mum and dad in Michigan. So every morning I was getting up and going down 59. She wouldn't go down fucking 62. It was chocolate. I used to go down 59 from Michigan, get on to A59, go down to Harrogate, and then drop into Thorpe Park, which is the training ground. So I was travelling there until I said, right, we've got you at an hotel. So I went, and we needed 2 hotels. We had 2 young kids, open doors. and they got us one on bottom floor, one on top, and we had 2 cars full of stuff. Mrs was still a bit prenatal after having Ken's issues, and I just rung and said, look, if you don't get me fucking a flat, I'm going back home because this is a joke. So I never really said is they got me a flat, and then I got recalled about a week later anyway. But so by the time I've ended up turning Glenn Hoddle down, which is the one mistake I think I did really regret in my career.
Really?
Well, I wanted it to be a permanent, but
yeah.
and he wanted it to be a permanent because I've still never still had it. But I'll get to the so George Burley come in. I spoke to Billy Davis. I said, look, in January if you want to sign me on a because I just wanted to get away. I just had enough. George Burley pulled me in. I've been there. I had a year and a half of just being messed about by Steve Wigley, previous manager. Then out of head now. George Burley said, look, we're still giving it. And I said, look, I want to go. Yeah. And I said, look, I've had enough. I said, look, and what it was, there was me and Klaus Lundit when we got relegated from Southampton. We didn't have a 50% pay cut, which a lot of people did.
Right.
So the Sherman tried to cut us off the bonuses. Was being fucking horrible with us. Because, but it was, it wasn't my fucking fault.
No, of course not.
No.
So they tried. So I said to George Bailey, I said, look, if I get a club, will you let me go for free? And he's like, well, we'll have a look at it. He said, all right, yeah. I said, right, good, because Billy Davis rung me. I've got a 3-year offer at fucking Preston. Can I go? And he went, what? Well, I said, no, you fucking said. Because by then I just wanted out.
Yeah,
so then, about a week later, I ended up signing for Preston. But it was, but like I said, Paul McKenna's one of my best friends. I was talking to you before. I used to play against Kenna since we were kids when he was at Preston and I was at Blackpool right through. Yeah. Obviously the rivalry there and stuff. So when I went to Preston, he was obviously him and Graham. They had a great team. Graham Alexander Campbell, they had such a good David Nugent. Nuge was like me when I was younger. You know, he's banging goals. He didn't give a shit. Thicker than me, to be fair. Thick as a fucking floor, but what a player. You know, in his prime, what a player. Yeah. And we had a really good squad, and so I ended up going there, and I had 3 years there. But again, I broke my leg in 6 places in playoff semi-final against. We'd drawn at Leeds 1-0. 2 minutes into it, Jonathan Douglas slide tackled me. I snapped my leg. I broke my leg in 6 places. My leg ended up bending, ripped all my ankle ligaments. Took about. They nearly did 2 operations on it because it was that. Yeah. And I remember waking up. What the Preston physio said, look, it's fucked. I went and looked at the X-rays, and it was like a McConnell set. I had metal bars, I had screws everywhere. I've still got scars going right on my leg there, on my ankle ligaments. And I thought, I just signed a 3.5-year deal, and I just said to my missus at the time, I said, I think that's me. Yeah. I said, I'm not going to get back from this. Yeah. And I did, and I ended up coming back even stronger. In fact, I got back quicker with that than I did with the double break.
Really?
Yeah, so it was, and it was, and so that's how that happened.
was it David Nugent at Preston when he got the England call?
Yeah, he was at Preston, yeah.
So he's got the 1 game, 1 goal, hasn't he?
Well, I said he nicked it off the line off before, didn't he? They weren't after him, but no, I said, yeah, you've done fucking well. I said, I'd have done the same for any striker in the same.
Absolutely.
Because he could turn around now and say, he scored a goal for England.
Definitely. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And it's like his generation, Steve Bull, wasn't it?
So another thing, something that you're well known for, your reputation, always best dressed, looking presentable as always.
Yeah, I mean, Strachan used to say to me, I've seen better dressed rooms than you all know. And I used to say, look, I said, look, Gaffer, I'm a shepherd, not a sheep. I said, I know I'm a scruffy fucker. I said, but I'm clean. Yeah. I said, I'm a shepherd, not a sheep. I said, I'm never going to be a fucking beggar. Yeah. I said, I'm my own person. I remember him looking like that, and he just, that's the best fucking answer I've ever heard. Yeah. I said, I'm me. I said, yeah, I'm scruffy. I said, but why the fuck do I want to be like everyone else?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly, mate. I like that. That's why I wanted to bring that up. I like that.
But yeah, that's a true story. That he put that in his book as well.
Did he?
Better dressed room.
Love that. So
we have a few little tips on. Like, we've got a mutual friend.
All right.
So Tony Parr.
All right. Yeah. That's who I was speaking to before.
He goes in the pub quite often.
All right. Yeah.
So he's happy that you've come on and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the stuff at Blackpool. Obviously, we've talked a lot about your Southampton and other things as well. So let's get on to the main one, the Blackpool. Yeah. So one thing that you're definitely well known for, probably one of your best achievements in your career, the only player to score in all 4 of the top 4 divisions in English football. Yeah. What an achievement that is.
For the same club. I mean, for the same club, time I come back, I'd already done it because I'd scored in every league. And I'd scored for Southampton. I'd scored quite a few Premier League goals, so I'd already done it, but it was for the same club. But that was, that got to a point because obviously I'd started the season, we beat Wigan 4-1. Yeah. 4-0 at opening day. And I remember Elliot Brandy putting the ball across and I stretched and missed it. And so I think Flex knocked it back and I fucking missed it again. So on match it day and I remember just heading my hands. And then I scored an header here when we drew with Fulham 2-2. And I scored a fucking great and it stanched in the top and it got fucking disallowed.
You're joking.
For offside.
Was it Tottenham?
Yeah, he ended up with Redknapp manager, funnily enough.
But I love that.
We say things, I tend to, fair. And so, and by then they started to bring Matty Phillips in. Yeah. Because I was 30, I was coming back in. Luke Varney coming, he was a lot younger than me. So, so I'd started off the season, I'd done really well. But I wasn't 20 odd anymore. And it was taking its toll. Yeah. So then I ended up being on bench, and then I wasn't in the squad. Yeah. And it became a monkey on your back really, because everyone kept saying to me, "Was bringing this up," and it was like, and I remember you go down, the gaffer would pick the team, and if you're not in it, you go in corporate, you go up in corporate and speak, and they'll be going, "No, you're going to score this goal today, Brett," and I'll be like, "No, because I'm stuck with you, and if I'm not playing," and I'll be like, "If I was, I'd be out there now warming up," and they'd ask me these questions, and I thought it's never going to come, and we played Blackburn, funny enough, in a midweek reserve game, me and Beats, and I ended up playing really well, set Beats up a couple of goals, I think I scored a couple of goals myself. And all the way right, the thing they said, your attitude's been absolutely spot on, you're on bench against Spurs. So I was on a bench, didn't think anything of it. I think we're 2-0 up, and Spurs had a fucking great team. I mean, I'm not crazy. Aaron Lennon were playing, which I were at Leeds with Lenny as well. So I've been, but they had we scored from foreign centre forward, we were rushing with something, but they're fucking great players. But they had such a good squad.
Yeah, they had a good team,
And I remember the goal yesterday, and I come on, and Keith Southern played it inside, Matty Phillips was running inside, and he's at Exeter Cotto or something, he was Cameroon left back. That's right. And so I ran on the outside, and what it was, he was quite a left back who took risks. Yeah. He wouldn't just clear it. And I remember Matty Phillips running inside, and he got his body on Matty, and I just gambled that he'd take a touch. Yeah. Because any other defender would have just cleared the lines, because he's in a 6-yard box. Yeah, of course. And I gambled, and I thought, he ain't going to he'll take a fucking touch here. So I've come on his blind side, he took a touch right into my path and smashed it in the fucking net, ran off, and the adrenaline, if you ever see the things of that, it's because it was like 6 months of, are you going to get that goal yet? Are you going to get that goal yet?
It was about January, February time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite, and it was, are you going to get that goal yet? Are you going to get that goal? And you can just see the fucking relief, because it was like, thank God. Yeah, it was just like, that's it now, I can retire. I can just sit there.
Against Harry Redknapp.
I don't have to play another game, because it was just, and because I'd got that one disallowed against Spurs, and I missed them two, that double one in succession against Wigan, and it was like, and things all, I've always been one of them, it's going to happen. Yeah. But when that many people go, no one's ever done it. No one's ever done it. I've been talking about this Luton lad, aren't they? He's done it, and he was like, oh, fucking hell, I've done that. You're 10 years too late.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck. And if you can ever see the celebration that you can see the relief and keeps jumping on it. Neil Heard you jumping on it.
Brilliant.
And I think I just knocked them both off and fuck. And it was just like, wow, I think that's the best I've slept all night after in head for a long time. And it was just,
that's quality.
Matty Phillips is still playing, isn't he?
He's at West Brom.
I think he's just signed for Oxford.
Has he just signed for Oxford United? I mean, when you talk about kids who, and Tom Ince as well, I mean, Holloway brought them two in, and Blackpool were flying. And I look back now at their careers, and I just think that, for me, neither of them fulfilled the potential. Yeah. Because them kids, especially Matty was and he's a great lad as well. Yeah. He had such a good attitude, and I think had he been with lads, I know football's a hard, and there's a lot of ego in it. It's not as much now, but especially when I was a kid, it could be a real horrible, intimidating place to be in football. But he was such a good kid, Matty Phillips, and I think had he been under with players like what he started off with, and a manager who cared like he had Holloway, he should have played at the top. Because I remember we beat Sunderland away, and he went on a run. He was only 18, 19, and he took out the fucking team on their backside side, and we all sat down on the bench going, what the fuck? It's like, this kid's going to be fucking... He come on for me against Blackburn. I mean, all my family were here, Blackburn fans, and he come on for me and fucking bang one in bottom corner. I'm like, wish that were me, like, But yeah, I mean, I look at him then, and he was such a good player.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm not that he hasn't had a good career, and I don't mean that.
No.
I just mean, when I look, I just think, I felt he could have played a lot more in the Prem and played at that higher level, for a lot longer than he did.
Definitely, yeah. And also as well, another very memorable moment, Cardiff, 2010.
Yeah,
I think most special. One of Blackpool's best moments in recent history, definitely.
It was. Do you know what?
Talk us through the goal first of all, because it was a topo, wasn't it?
I used to say to my son Dylan, he was how old was he then? He'd have been 10 to born in. So he used to come in with his mates, and I used to say, "Oh, Dylan, have you told your mates about your daddy's £90 million tour?" He'd be like, "Shut up, Dad, shut up." Right.
A goal at Wembley.
I know, because what you got to remember as well is that when we got to, I played at Millennium twice.
Yeah.
FA Cup final and the playoff final against, Leyton Orient when we won for Blackpool. 2001 was at Millennium because they were redeveloping Wembley.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, everyone, I wanted to play at Wembley. I went to the old Wembley with school in '92. We travelled all day. England beat Turkey 1-0. I've got my Rovers hat on. My Blackburn Rovers fucking bucket hat. My England trackie, the 1990 trackie. I was about 14, giving it up. And to play, so, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Millennium Stadium's a brilliant stadium, but it's not Wembley.
It's not Wembley.
No. And then I was 32, I've gone back from Preston, and I'm thinking, I'll never get to Wembley. That's me missed it. So to get to Wembley, it's fucking brilliant. To score at Wembley. And I ended up going back again, but I didn't play obviously with Blackpool. And then I went back twice with Wrexham. I played twice with Wrexham. We won the FA Trophy. Beat Grimsby, and we should have beat fucking Newport in the playoff final. We got beat in a game that was one of them. It was so one-sided for us. Dace nicked a goal. We had to push you up, and then nick one later on. We got beat 2-0, and it's one of the only games that I think, how the fuck did we lose that? But I mean, it was, first of all, it was the hottest day in the world.
Yeah, that was another thing that I was going to mention. So like I say, I was speaking to Tony Parr before, and he'd done an interview with previous players, and the defenders, one thing they said in the interview was, one thing they remember, the second half, they played in the shade rather than the sun, and it was a massive weight off the shoulders.
We went behind, I mean, we'd gone behind 10 games in a row, but it's the only time in my career where Holloway had this, we'd won the last 10 out of 11, and we'd gone behind in pretty much every one of them. And if you watch I watched the Forest second leg recently, and we played fucking well. And we went 1-0 down early doors, and they'd only been beat 3 times at home all season. We were the last team to beat them at the. We beat them 4 times. Remember Paul McKenna, he was captain of Forest as well. So we'd done them fucking 4 times that year.
Wow.
And Billy Davies obviously my ex-man he was. And I'm convinced that Billy thought when we beat them 2-1 at Bloomfield here. I know for a fact that he thought they were going to beat us. Especially when you went 1-0. I mean, I played obviously. I went on loan from Preston to Forest and got promotion with Forest. So I had 4 months at Forest. I loved it. Got on really well with a proper football club. Got promoted with him. Wanted to sign there, but it's a difference with Alan Irving. And I ended up staying because again I've just moved into it. I've had more fucking houses. I don't see why I should pay council tax. I've never really fucking house. I've lived everywhere. So sorry, I forgot what I was saying. So to go 1-0 down so early. I mean, to be fair, I had that shot that just fucking dipped our bar, and I was like that, and I thought we're playing well here. And then they went and scored, and I don't think there's been another team in the champ. I think any other team in the champ at Forest, because they've won the last 18 at home, would have gone under. I mean, beat 4 and 5. You watched that game, it's on YouTube, I watched it a couple of months ago actually, and I was just like, we fucking battered. And we came back, and we did it against Cardiff.
It was a solid side, because you had like a young Seamus Coleman, didn't we?
Yeah, we got Shea on loan. Oh, what a player.
And obviously he's like touching the end of his career at Everton
Yeah.
now, and he's going down as a legend. With
Yeah.
him, and
Well,
he was their club captain.
Well, what it was, my mate's a massive Everton fan. And Shea's another lad, so shy, and we'd lost Neil Eardley. Eards had been injured, because Eards was playing well. Eards was a fantastic. I mean, he played really well for us in the Prem, did Eards. But he got injured, and he brought this lad in Seamus Cole. And I'd gone in, I remember going in Friday and going, alright, and do you know someone who just looks like a rabbit in the headlights?
Yeah.
Quiet type. Bit like, and I could relate to that when I first, because I remember when I first, first signed for Blackpool, bearing in mind you walk into the dressing room, Gary Brabbins there, and he's just going, fucking hell, it's Harold Steptoe, like, yeah, you know, and I'm like shy as fuck, and he's just hammering me and all. So it's, you know, you've got to sink or swim.
Yeah,
and Shea was like really, and I'm thinking, this kid's like fucking, got him this little right back from Everton. And I remember going home, my mate rung me up and said, Matt, I mean, he's an Everton fan, he's one of them, when he got his proudest thing is that, because he won champ manager with Everton, he applied for a job, you know, when it was vacant, and they give him a reply.
Really?
So he's got it with Everton notepaper, so that's his fucking, and he's got it framed.
That's class.
You know, so,
that is class.
But he rung me up and went, oh, Shea Coleman's there at yours, and I said, yeah. I said, little Irish lad, I said, yeah. He said, what a fuck, he went, honestly, Brett, he's going to be one of the best fucking right backs. And he was the one that told me about Rooney, when no one knew about Rooney.
Really?
Because he used to go and watch Hope Resis and that. He's massive, like I say, he's a die-hard Everton fan. And he used to say, does this Wayne Rooney, Brett? And I'd be like, yeah, all right, they're on about him being the new Michael Owen, but he's better than Michael Owen. But you've heard that a million times.
Yeah, no,
and I go, yeah, whatever, right? So, funny enough, we play Everton. And David Moyes has told the story, Everton manager, because they did pick him up from school.
Yeah.
Right, on way to Southampton. So we beat them 1-0. But they put Rooney on, 16-year-old. Right? Bearing in mind, he's built like he is now. He weren't, when I was 16, I could show you I was fucking this big. Rooney was like that, shit, right?
Yeah.
So he comes on, we have Klaus Lundvik, Norwegian captain, Michael Svensson, Swedish international. Two players who were smash all over the place. Right? And he's come on as a 16-year-old and he was ragdolling him about, like, and we were going, what the fuck? Yeah. Right? He was, and his touch and all that, he's like, this kid ain't 16. I'm like, he ain't fucking 16. It was only about a week or two later where he scored that goal against Arsenal.
Yeah.
The free kick.
Yeah, and that's when he really caused it. But my mate would tell me, going, yeah, I'm telling you that. He is the new Michael Owen, but I reckon he's better. I'm like, fuck the fuck up. Turns out, you know.
Wow.
But
That's
so
awesome story,
he
that.
said that with that Shea Coleman, and he was like, and he turned out, what a player he was. What a player.
Because I actually remember the playoff semi-final there. He had a bit of a scrap, didn't he? One of the
Yeah.
gripped him by the throat. And he probably got stuck in. Well, he's not just like, obviously Charlie Adam.
Charles. Well, Charles was, I mean, Charles was fucking brilliant. We didn't think we'd get that. What it was, it came, when I come back from Preston, I was 33, Tony Parks had signed me, because obviously I knew Parks from when I went Blackpool. I'd actually seen, because my youngest lad who's 17 now, he used to take it driving range. I don't fucking do a good walk for me, golf, but my eldest one was massively into it. So I used to take it driving range to keep it quiet when I was about 6-year-old. And Tony Parks always used to be at the driving range in Nishton. So I was walking past and I wasn't playing, and the manager of Preston then was my manager at Blackburn, my youth team manager, who released me. When he got the Preston job, I turned on to Paul McKenna and I went, that's me gone.
Yeah.
And he went, nah, don't be silly. And it turned out to be the case. So I've got my youngest, who's about 6. We're going for driving range, Tony Parks is there, and he's like, what are you doing? Because he was obviously, he was first team coach at Blackburn when Alan Irving was youth team manager and I was apprentice.
Yeah.
So I said, he's not fucking playing the Parks. He said, well, do you fancy coming back on what? I said, to be fair, my contract's up. I said, yeah. I said, look, and there's only Coydy there. I said, look, if you can get me there, yeah, definitely. I said, because all I'm doing it. If you look at my career, I went on loan a lot, right? And it's always right if I'm coming back from injury or out of favour, because I didn't want to waste my career sat on my arse.
No,
I wanted to play. I mean, I played for Forest. I played for Leeds, didn't go well, but I still played for fucking Leeds. I can look at my CV and go, I've done that, rather than sitting fucking reserve, just picking the money up. Because I wanted to play. And I think,
that's the best thing to do.
Yeah, and I was running out. I had 6 months left on my contract at Preston. I was fucking, so then a day or two later, he rings me up and says, right, we can sort it. Do you want to do it? And that's how I ended up going back to Blackpool.
Brilliant. Class. So, get around to some questions then. Yeah. I know you've got a few you want to ask. I'll let you ask away.
Now, one one player in specifically I wanted to ask about. Like, I don't know if you know much about him, but he was always hit and miss for me. It's Keegan Parker.
Yeah,
No, I know
he's
he
in
was a big
between
fan
match
favourite,
spells, Keegan. Yeah, I know Keegan.
Like, he was either loved or hated.
More
Sometimes,
yeah.
Like, and what did you play with him? Like, what was it?
I played with last. He was like I say, he was in between me. He was there after I left, and he'd gone before.
Oh right, yeah.
I think Keegan was one of them. I think he was a bit. I think Keegan wanted to be loved. I think he's one of them. A lot of players are. Everyone has a certain thing that makes you tick. And when you look at Keegan, when I look at Keegan, he was a fucking great player. The problem is that with some players like that, if they're not getting what they need, they can be a bit inconsistent. And I think it's inconsistency that frustrates players, because there's so many players I play with who are like that, who was on the day would be could be unplayable. But then they'd only do it for one game in 10, and that's what stops you going higher and higher. Mike Milligan, when I was, he came, and Mike Milligan again. When he signed, when McMahon brought Mike Newley was at Blackpool with me, and always Mike Milligan used to say to me, Brett, the only difference between the Premier League players and the rest of them is consistency. He said they do it at a higher level for longer. You know, so, and I think Keegan was on his day. Wow, I mean, he scored that goal against Yeovil. I remember watching that.
I was in Wembley Stadium. He was a belter of a curler.
You know, he curled it in, didn't he? And stuff. So and I spoke to him. He's a good lad, Keegan. He is. He's a character. But I think if that's what makes the player.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
No, I've got one more.
Go on.
You know, it's an opinion. Like,
It's an opinion.
Well,
Here we go.
I love everything in life's an opinion.
Yeah, what's your opinion on like how Blackpool is now? Like, obviously now after the Oyster situation.
I mean, it is. I mean, at first when the Oysters, I mean, Carl. It's funny enough because I've always known Carl. I've known him a long time. And I said actually to John Murphy came to the playoff final in 2010, and he ended up. I was pissed. I used to have my Carl, so gave him a fucking job, and then we ended up giving Murphy. But Keith Southern, because Keith Southern was good mates with Coidy and Murphy, because he used to travel from Liverpool. So when I came to Blackpool, back to Blackpool, I got to know Keith through Murphy and Coidy, and Keith's again one of my best mates. I speak to him, he's a player. He brings me up, every other week. We just have a right good chat and stuff. So we call. I always remember when we got that night we had to do. And I said, you know what? I said, if we go down, the one thing will be interesting is that Carl's always said he hasn't put money in because it's the family's money. If the club generate the money, he'll always put that in. I said, he's got fucking 90 million quid now that he didn't account for. I said, I reckon if we went down, he'd try and fuck it. He won't keep his promise. He'll try and fucking siphon it off, or he won't want to reinvest it back in football because he'll do and that's what it turned out to be. And we had a legacy that we should have had a great training ground. A legacy for those lads. A legacy for that squad of players. For me, personally, would have been to go to Squires Gate and see a magnificent fucking training facility. The first team, like Fleetwood have, but what should it? Blackpool should have a better one than that. Absolutely. It goes from the first team right down to the fucking under sixes, boys and girls. Astroturf should be. Blackpool should have a first class facility, and they could have had it under what we achieved.
They could have, 100%.
And I think any chairman, and if you had a chairman who was a football fan, Cole's never a football fan. But you've got to remember, I signed in '97, and Owen was still chairman, and he'd been sent down. So his wife at the time, Vicky, she was the one I met when I came down here with Eric, Gary Megson thing. So she didn't want to do it, right? So she made Carl do it, and Carl, he never liked football. Carl would, if you run the football club like Carl did, 999 times out of 1,000 you'd have gone fucking down the leagues, right? But he didn't, and he never understood the fucking, it was a bit of blind luck. But Carl can always turn around and say, well, I've had 3 promotions out of all 3 leagues, and all the fucking chairman's done that. But he'll take, right? And I remember watching, if you watch the playoff final video, and he's interviewing him before the game, and he went, I'm not surprised with you. And I dropped my pint. The first time I seen that, because my brother had bought it, and so we sat watching it, right, about a year. I didn't watch him about a year later, and we sat and watching it. And it's on CD, sorry, because it's been compact disc before, Blu-ray. And we sat there, and it's going for up thing, it's showing up fans and all that. And he's gone, I'm not surprised. And I dropped my fucking pie. I went, he ain't surprised. I said, we were fucking surprised. If we're surprised, the fuck is he not? He just didn't appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Cole was never over anything else than Cole. He was always like that.
Yeah.
He never changed. He didn't just become green in that. He was like that anyway.
Yeah.
You know, he was the one consistent, but people didn't see it. It's only till afterwards, and he took it to a different level. And he got to. And I remember coming here doing commentary when he was hoisting out and all that, and he had his number plate. And there was. I remember going in corporate, and there was like 3 tables, and there's no fans in, and it's like, and you're thinking, it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't gone up. Is this the worst thing that, from being the best thing in the world, that should have left a legacy? Suddenly, as a player, you're thinking, have we killed the club by doing that?
Yeah.
And it was a horrible fucking
I can imagine that.
you know.
People don't think of it like that.
Anything's better than you know. And I know Simon Sadler gets a lot of stick, but what you've got to remember is Simon Sadler's putting his own money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
If he'd have done it, and I honestly believe if he'd have had that money from Sky, then you would have had a fucking training ground, and you would have had this and that, because he's been doing things like that. He spent a hell of a lot of money, a lot more money than Oyston ever did on them squads. You know,
100%.
but you've got to, you know, it's easy to get fucking carried away with things, but every other club's trying to do this as well. You know, so you've got to sort of put it in perspective. Can't say I put my teeth back in perspective and stuff. But you've got, you know, can they do it again? My last game, you know what? The last game I watched against Crewe, I thought they were brilliant. I thought the lad Evans looked fucking brilliant. What a player he looks. So I'm full of optimism, because instead of just scoring last year, he went side to side, very easy. Teams were coming across. Weren't passing it with a purpose, passing it too slow. Against Crewe, they were short, they were looking forward all the time. They had Joseph who were upside Jordan Rhodes. And Joseph last year came in, hadn't done pre-season, wasn't fit, had his injury troubles. He looked sharp. I said to Jed thingy afterwards, I said, you know what, he could have a great season this game, because he looked sharp. Took his goal superbly well, I know at first minute. And I know it's Crewe, but they were so positive, they were looking down the channels. CJ Hamilton is where you want him to be. He's down. He's getting one-on-one with the left back. You know, and all right, he said that when he was a winger, but he's playing as a wing back. Yeah, that's right. He very rarely last year got forward because he was so fucking. And you're thinking, well, in this league, CJ Hamilton one-on-one, I'll back him against anyone. So that's where you want him running. I don't want CJ Hamilton running back here. I want him fucking running down there. No one, especially everything was positive. Out of ball, they were fucking good up defence, really good. And I think that would be pretty much close at team he plays against Crawley. But watching that made me. I come away from that game feeling really optimistic. Really optimistic.
That's what we like to hear. Hopefully they get back up to where they are, and there's many better glory days coming. Blackpool.
I've just got one more. Sorry, I'm going to keep asking. Will there be a chance we'll see Brett Ormerod on the sideline of Bloomfield Road?
Do you know what? Well, I mean, we had a spell. Me and Ilsey had a spell at fouled, and we scored. You know, they won a game, and we ended up. I think we won 3 games, scored 10 goals, and conceded 1. And then he brought A4 brought Jim Bentley in. They got relegated, and we haven't had a sniff yet. And I never. You know what? When I finished, I was adamant, because I finished at Bamber Bridge when I was 39. The last pro club with Wrexham. I left Wrexham at 37. I was travelling every day. I was having injuries. I went down there for with Andy Morel. And I was, by the time I retired, I was ready to. My body impacting, I was mentally tired. I've done it for 25 years. I've travelled all over the world, all over the country, sorry. And I was just tired. And I didn't do anything for 2 years, and it sent me a bit too early. I had a marriage breakup as well. So my mate Johnny was one of my best mates, and he got me working at DPD to do his things. I started doing that as a routine, just to get me in a routine, because I wasn't doing anything. My kids were all. I didn't even have to take them to school, so my house became a prison. Every day we're melting into one. I started drinking, and I was in a bad way, and it gave me a routine. And that was 7 years ago, and I've been there ever since.
Oh, brilliant.
Obviously I did a radio Lancashire, which I love, but we had to do it for Farrell. And I said, do you want to come in with me? So we went in, I was nervous out, we got on playing, and I come away, and I remember the first day, me and Niels were coming away, and I went, fucking love that. Yeah. And we turned him around like that, and we just, and I thought, I want to do that again. But the football, it's very clicky.
Yeah.
You've got to know people now. I still don't have my badges. I never took my badges because I should have done. Yeah, I said the only badges I've got is I can swim 10 metres and I've got one for picking brick up off bottom of the pool in your pyjamas. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember
that's
that.
the only fucking badges I've got. But you know, for me, the badges are like you don't teach how to drive, you teach how to pass your test, and then you learn how to drive.
Yeah, no,
it's just a statement. Badge,
yeah.
I've 25 years experience, and I've scored goals in the top 7 leagues. I've played it all over in every league, so I know what I'm fucking on about. You know, so
I never thought I'd be more qualified than Brett Ormerod. Did I just pass my UAPC? But that's what I mean. Like, I'm starting off a coaching journey. Like, I've got them qualifications, but nothing compared to experience that you'd ever have. You know what I mean?
Well, I took all my little lads' team when they were under 8s, and we didn't lose a game for 3 years, and we were beating all the academies. So I know what I'm on about, but it's getting that across the players, and it's making them feel. Because when I started, you know, managers were fucking horrible, the damn players and all that. I think man management's massive in game. You need players who need a kick up their arse. You've got to identify players, and we did that. You need them who need an arm around the shoulder. You know, there's no point if someone's giving the ball away and fucking bollocking around with them isn't going to make them play any better.
No, of course
it's just going to make them go in the shell. And the thing with football, it's like any walk of life, there's different personalities, and it's getting the best out of them. And that's what Holloway was fucking. I watched the Brian Clough documentary, right? And Brian Clough, if you watch, honestly, if you can have time, watch it. Because I went to Hong Kong, me and Paul McKenna, Hong Kong vets. Forest Vets in Hong Kong Sevens. Went with Neil Webb, Des Walker and all that. And I just picked the brains.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah.
Kenny Burns won 2 fucking European Cups with Forest. Right? I used to get pissed and I just get him in the head. I just get him in a corner like this. So I'd be like, right, tell me everything about Brian Clough. And I'll sit there and he'd be like, Brett, and I'll just fucking tell me. Des Walker, right?
Wow.
So, and I watched this documentary and it's brilliant. But if we made a documentary on Ian Holloway, it would be very simple. Because Holloway had that. He won, like I said, when we won the last 10 games, we went behind every time. And we went behind twice in the final. I went twice in the final at Leighton Orient when Barnsley slipped. And I remember Murph looking at me and going, what the fuck? We went round there after 30 seconds, didn't we? And I went, oh man. And when you concede, your natural reaction is, it's fucking gut-wrenching, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Definitely.
Cardiff scored twice and not one. I just get the ball. No one panicked, and I knew. I couldn't even shake their hand because I'm thinking, you're stopping me getting back in the fucking Prem. And the one thing I didn't do after the game was shake any of their hands because I thought, fuck them. I regret it now because I shouldn't have done.
The mentality.
That was my mindset at the time. I'm 33 now. None of these countries stopping me getting back in fucking Premier League. Right? And not for this club. This is it. And you know, you walk out, it's fucking Tangerine, 82 days. And I've got a picture, I've got one of them thingy pictures on my wall.
Really?
I've got one at FA Cup with Southampton Arsenal. There was 73,000. At Wembley there's 80,000 with Blackpool and Cardiff.
Quality, absolutely quality.
He had our mindset like that, did Holloway. And we went behind twice and not once did we panic. The only time I panicked was when I come off. I couldn't fucking handle it. I had to go to the dressing room.
Really?
And I had Billy Clark running in and out telling me to score because it was fucking thing and I was like, I couldn't see it. And then that final whistle, and it was, I didn't sleep that night. We were out up pissed. We had it do. And then me, Cranes, and that went to, my missus went to bed because my kids were up. And me and Cranes and a few other lads went to Casino Cross Road. I come back about 4 in the morning and I stopped up. I just stared at the ceiling because you know your adrenaline's going out. I could not sleep. Until my little one got up, he was about 3 or 4 then, till about 7 o'clock he got up and I took him downstairs and he had breakfast all the time. I could not sleep, I was just like that, like a fucking meerkat like that.
I remember the parade as well, Joe, when you got back.
But that was some feeling that.
Obviously seeing it from down here, like up there, I can imagine just seeing Tangerine all the way down the prom.
I don't know if you're on Facebook when I did the Sunderland game. So we did a parade and my family had gone to Centre Parks. So we did a parade and then we went out. I'll come out for one. We went to Waterfront and doing a t-shirt competition. All lads were in, so we were packed. But I had to go to Centre Parks, so I wasn't drinking.
Right, okay.
So they were like, oh, we need someone to pour water on. So they all fucking voted me, didn't they? So I was like, so I had to get up and I'm like, fucking hell, do I have to do this? Like, and because I'm sober, it's like, these girls are like, I'm trying not to look like I've got a fucking wife and 3 kids up at centre points. Right? So I'm like this. So we're doing all this. Anyway, I ended up going centre points. But doing this, and that's 14 years ago. So I'm walking down Sunderland game, other week, parts the car up, I'm walking down, thinking, and there's a group of lads, and I had my glasses on that, I was like, I need someone to say, yeah, bro, I'm not glasses. I remember him, what, and he said, what he said, he got it wrong. He said, when we got relegated for the Premier, it wasn't, it was when we got promoted.
Yeah.
Like, I remember he pouring all this fucking water on. I thought, first of all, he's taking piss, and he's just trying to get me attention. But he weren't, he was just deep into conversation, about 5 lads. Wow. So I just went, I remember that, we're fucking brilliant. Right? And they all looked at me and went, what the fuck?
How class
So
is
I had a
that?
photograph with him all anyway, he put it on, my mate texted me, what the fuck's this? He put it on Facebook. But,
Brilliant.
It was just random, it was 14 years later and I just went, fuck. So I just linked to him, I went, yeah lads, I remember that, we're fucking brilliant, wasn't it? And they all went,
Wow, imagine that.
but yeah, it was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
Right, so let's do some quick fire questions to finish off with. So, what was the best stadium you've ever played at? I think you've already answered this.
I know when, but do you know what? I mean, the stadium, the domestic stadium I used to like was the old White Hart Lane.
Oh wow, like I like.
The old, I mean, I haven't been to Newark.
Yeah.
It looks unbelievable.
It
But
is.
I used to
I've been
love
3
playing
times.
at the old White Hart Lane because it was like a proper old-fashioned pitch. Was, I mean, this is before they started putting they're all carpets now.
Yeah.
White Hart Lane was a fucking carpet, absolute carpet. Where and it was brilliant. And it wasn't the biggest ground.
Yeah.
Like Old Trafford or something like that. But I just used to think I just like playing.
Yeah, of course.
Worst one? Worst ground?
Preston North End.
Yeah.
I've had some worse ones. I remember Shrewsbury's old ground. Played there once or twice with Blackpool back in McMahon days. And we went to play there one week and it's going to be off. And Banks had burst. And I went, why, how do you know it's going to be off? And then it was like on fucking news. And there was a guy in a rowing boat in the middle of the pitch. And he went up there and he's like on goalpost. He's like near crossbar. And he's looking, he's like 4 foot of water.
Right. Okay.
Speaking of pitches, I bet that was a tough one sometimes.
That was the worst pitch in the world. What it was?
They used to take the piss, didn't they, about the sand?
Oh yeah, well yeah, because it's free.
Yeah,
On beach.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
I used to say well, it's covered. Why is it covered in sand? I mean, because Euston's got the groundsman who was. I mean, he used to make the laugh that everyone who worked at Blackpool used to have second jobs.
Yeah.
Like our groundsman was a gravedigger. Our kit man Walsey he was a fucking taxi driver. And so. Why is it covered in sand? I went, because it's free on beach. I went, do you know what? I've watched a few Alan Titchmarsh's and not one time has he ever turned around and said, how fucking sand helps grass grow. It never does. I said, but it's not like a fucking beach.
Yeah, it was.
And the Prem, it was immaculate.
Yeah.
Because the Prem, to get the money, the Prem, you had to use this certain seed which were expensive, right? Which we had at the training ground. So I got the groundsman. I got fucking from my back garden because my back garden was shit. So I got him give me this big boom bag of fucking seed, and I had my back garden like a fucking lawn. But then I'll tell you a quick one because Matt Williams was chief exec. So again, we're in the Prem. And Squires Gate was a bit same since I'd signed in '97. It used to be like fucking Matthews was here on fucking walls. It was like a shed in the middle of an airfield. So come in one day, and there's cleaners everywhere. Never seen anything like it. Fucking cleaners, just like bleaching everything. I went to Matt Williams, what the fuck's going on here? I went, don't let me guess. I went, Premier League assessors are coming in, aren't they? And he went, yeah. I said, you know what, Matt? I said, you can't get rid of fucking 50 years in neglect with a bit of detox and a fucking, a mopping and a bit of fucking detox. I said, he just doesn't happen, man.
No, yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. So, who's Blackpool or Southampton or whatever club? Who's the worst trainer with?
I played with some fucking lads who were. Blackpool was pretty good. Just trying to think. There's some. Marion Halls at Southampton was probably one of the best players I ever played with. What a fucking player. Yeah. But in training, he was Marion because he was Latvian. And he was the only one, he could tell you when he was going to be ill. He said, Brett, I'm not feeling well. I think I'm ill next week. Second went, the only fucking virus you ever have, Marion, is a computer one. But what a player. He was that big on me, and he could do everything. He was an unbelievable. But yeah, training, there was a few lads who could just, non-existent, but then come on a match day. which I always felt were better
Yeah,
than
oh,
lads who
yeah.
fucking smash in training and be like that, and then on a match day you won't see it. They go out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So who was the best trainer then across your career?
People, I wouldn't say me best, but I'd say in that category we were always like that. Keith Southern, Stephen Craney, Callum Davison,
Right, okay.
Paul McKenna, them kind of players that were, they were never, when you went and don't matter if you want to win a game of fucking tiddlywinks,
Yeah.
but like, Crange, you could hear him fucking breathing down your neck, I had him at Southampton, Leeds and fucking Blackpool, and it's in training and I get bored, like, fucking hell Crange, like, but yeah, I mean, great lads, great, but fantastic attitude as well.
Brilliant. What was you like in training?
I was alright, because I used to see it, even when I weren't involved, I never used to toss training off, because it was always, I always remember Kenny Dalglish when I was a kid saying, you're self-employed. He said, so, even if you're not playing, you've got to be ready to play.
Yeah.
Even if it's not for this team, you could go and loan somewhere else and you've got to be ready. That's why when I went to Leeds, I've been injured and I've been ill. So I haven't played, but I wanted to get away, but I wasn't fit. Where every other time, pretty much, that I went, I've been playing at races, or I've been, because I'm self-employed, no one's going to do it, me. But then I was the only, my diet was horrendous, but I could eat what I want, not put weight on.
Lucky you.
Well, we had when I went out, that's when dietitians were coming in, right? True story this. So I'm sat there and this dietitian comes in, he says, right, gives everyone this food diet. He said, be honest. He said it's breakfast, dinner, tea, Sunday to Monday, fill it in and be honest, So I filled it in. Anyway, about 2 weeks later, he had this little makeshift office. He said, Brett, can I have a word? So I went in, and he threw fucking book at me. And I went, what? He went, it's not funny this, it's not a joke. And I went, what are you on about? And he went, seriously, this is not a joke. He said, and he's going through it. You have McDonald's, I'd scored 2 against City, battered him, fucking beat Schmeichel. I should have had an hat-trick, he saved fucking loads off me. Smashed City when Kevin Keegan, 2-0, got man at match, I've been in Westkeep night before, having a KFC, right, because that's, and he's like, but my running stats and everything were at the top.
Yeah.
And he just comes, and he's going, I can't, you don't eat this. I used to, like, at night, like Evo and that, they couldn't eat a chocolate, look at the chocolate, I used to fucking eat Chris and everything. And he said, how the fuck do you do it? I said, it's my only superpower. I said, I'm not good looking, I ain't going to do big cock. I can eat what I want, not put fucking weight on. I said, believe you me, when we're giving superpowers out, I got it on fucking cue.
Yeah.
But that's a true story though.
Something similar, Roy Keane said it like on one of their stuff. He was on about Phil Foden, like he's got his own chef and dietitian, this that and the other. And he said, I had done a kebab for him for a game.
Yeah.
And it was like, because I was supposed to obviously, back in that day. Like, that day, it's a lot different,
Well, the biggest thing
compared to now.
The biggest thing from when my first ever pre-season was Blackburn when I'd left school, '93, and I remember at pros coming in, and they put bin bags underneath the training gear for the first day to sweat it off. They'd all be come back from holiday, they're all like this. And the biggest change was that when I was a kid, coming through to when I finished, pre-season was to get fit. Yeah. Right? You're to be fit for pre-season by the end of it. So Strachan wrote that. So once we finished at Southampton, he'd give you 9 running dates. Right? First of all, he'd take your weight on that, and he'd have your times in pre-season before. And he'd say, right, you're so-and-so stone now. You come back, you've got £3 difference. Every pound you come over after that is a £1,000 fine.
Oh, fuck.
Right? So fucking that. And he to come back and do 9 running sessions in between that 5 week. So when I'm coming back up to Blackburn, I just left mine till fucking end of my holidays. So I come back up to Blackburn, slab me up like in my house, go on holiday and that, come back like 2 weeks to go, and then just do all fucking 9 in that thing. But I'd still be running, like I'd be going on holiday, have a nice old pit of that thing, and then I'd be up at 6 in the morning doing a fucking run. Just a run that, doing that, like an hour's run, and then jump in fucking pool when my temples were going to blow up. But that by then, they take all your weights and that. So you had pre-season to get fit. You had to be fit for pre-season.
Definitely,
That's the biggest change.
Wow,
They're athletes now. When I was a kid, you were a footballer first and athlete second. Now you're an athlete first and a footballer second. That's the difference.
Definitely,
that's the biggest
it's mental
difference.
how much it's changed. Another question: where's your winners' medal now from playoffs?
It's still in the museum.
Museum?
Yeah, with my shirt.
Oh really?
It's a football museum at Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
And I signed a, it's been in there for pretty much, what year are we on? 2024. I signed a 5-year deal to let it have them. And they've never given me back, but it's still being displayed, so I'm not bothered.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
All
I didn't
my
know
other
if you'd have it
medals,
framed.
all my other medals, I've got the only shirts I've got left now. I've given all me, but I've got like what are personal to me. Apart from one at lads at Southampton, I sold. He was my DPD man when I was at Whalley, when I lived in Whalley, Steve Crabb, and he got what do you call it, blood poisoning, and he's lost his leg. He nearly died. So we did an auction. So I auctioned off my Blackpool Premier League, my last Blackpool, which was my last one, which was personal. I signed that and auctioned it off, but I also signed the depot's full of Preston and Blackpool fans. And the first goal I scored on my debut for Preston against Crystal Palace, the first shirt, I auctioned that off for him as well. So yeah, apart from that, it's every. I've got because we played Bayern Munich. I've got Owen Hargreaves' Bayern Munich shirt.
Wow.
Because I scored against Bayern Munich. We played them we got knocked out at cup by Newcastle. Germans had it's on YouTube, and Germans had they were coming back from the winter break. So because whoever won in us and Newcastle, the other because they were out at cup and we were playing Bayern Munich. So Bayern Munich came to St Mary's. Michael Ballack, fucking Oliver. He put the whole team out. Wow. And we drew 1-0 and we went 1. I scored, went 1-0. We should have fucking scored again. Should have been 2-0. And I think Ballack equalised for them in the last minute.
It's Oliver Kahn as well, like.
Fucking well, Smarkle, fucking Van der Sar scored against Van der Sar when he was at Fulham.
Wow.
Done alright for a scruffy kid from Blackburn.
Definitely have, mate. Definitely have. Have you got any more questions? No. I think I've gone through all mine.
Like I say, Brad, I do genuinely appreciate your time coming on.
No, definitely. It's been class. Really enjoyed it. I've even lost track of time. Didn't
I know,
gone for quite a while.
Absolutely
Always brilliant. Thank you so much for coming
on.
Worries.
I'm like, what is it, Jack Canori when I start? I'm like, are you sitting comfortable? No, we'll begin. But,
brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure. Cheers. See you later, guys. Thank you for watching.
See you later.